Your practice test for chapter 10. I'm going to go through every single one if it's helpful for you. If you have plain notebook paper, I'll read through it and do some explanation of some of these, and you can write the answers down on plain paper as we go. It's really hard for me to know how long it's going to take you, so you probably will have to pause me between each question. Here is a bar graph, and you can see that there is some empty spots missing on the bar graph. Number 1 says, which is the best label for the numbers below the bar graph? So there's a lot of numbers underneath. You'll see that there's books on one side. They want the label for the bottom, okay? So it's going to have to do with numbers, okay? Because they're all numbers down there. Number 2, which is the best title of the bar graph? So they're referring back up here to the title. So what you want to ask your brain is, what is this all about? Okay, is it all about books in the library? I see the word fiction, science, history, poetry, books on this side, numbers along here. Is it all about history books? Is it all about favorite fiction books? Or is it all about poetry we read? Okay, yes, there's poetry books, there's fiction books, there's history books, but that's not all. What is this all about? For number 3, how many more history books than science books are there in the library? So we want to circle history and science. That's the important information. And the clue words, how many more, tells you right away that we're going to separate, subtract. Okay? So history and science. History, go all the way across and down is 6. Science is 4. The greater number always goes on top. So 6 take away 4 is going to help you get your answer. Number 4, how many fiction books are in the library? And you just kind of go up there, and that's a pretty straightforward question. Take a look at the fiction, go all the way across, and you will get your answer for that one. And now we're on to number 5. You'll see it is a picture graph. We're going to use this picture graph for questions 5 through 8. You'll see the title is Favorite Recess Game. Your choices are tag, hopscotch, kickball, or jacks. Some of you might not know jacks. They're these little things with a ball. You bounce and you try to pick up as many jacks as you can. It's a pretty fun game, actually. The key is each smile face stands for one child. So all these are going to refer to that picture graph right there. For number 5, which game did the most children choose? The most, the biggest amount. So you're going to go up here and see where the most smiley faces are and fill in the bubble next to the correct answer. Number 6, how many children chose kickball? You're going to go up to kickball, count them, and fill in the bubble next to the correct answer. For number 7, 2 more children chose tag. Now how many smiley faces should be in the tag row of the picture graph? So they're pretending that this graph is not done yet. They surveyed 2 more children, and 2 more chose tag. So all together, and you can draw right there in that picture graph to help you. All together, how many does tag have now? Number 8, 4 children like to read during recess, which shows a reading row for the picture graph. So looking back up at the picture graph, there's no reading. So this is just kind of using your imagination, that vocabulary word of the week. If 4 children were added and reading was added as an option, which one of these smiley faces match 4 kiddos that like to read at recess? Okay, next page already. I know I'm going kind of fast, so please feel free to pause, take a look at the graphs, take your time. This time we're going to use a tally chart for questions 9 through 12, and you can take a minute to take a look at that tally table. It says favorite yogurt flavor, and you'll see the different kinds of yogurt are peach, berry, lime, vanilla, and the tally marks are off to the side. For number 9, which statement is true? You really need to read all of your choices here. Okay. More children chose lime than peach. Is that true? Here's lime, peach. No, that's not true. So I can, if you decide to print this off, you can even put a little X here. More children chose vanilla than berry. Vanilla 7, berries 5. I think that one's right, but just in case, I'm going to keep on reading. It's important to look at all of your choices. You know, they put those stinkers in there sometimes, and sometimes the stinkers are in the first or the second spot. Fewer children chose vanilla than lime. Vanilla and lime. Fewer vanilla than lime. Nope, vanilla's more, so I don't think that's it either. X that one off. Fewer children chose vanilla than peach. Vanilla 7, peaches 3. It's not fewer, it's more. So yes, I'm going to go with one we thought earlier. Fill in the bubble next to that answer. Number 10, which flavor did the most children choose? So look at those tallies. Whichever one has the most tallies is the one that the most kiddos chose. Which flavor did the fewest children choose? It's important to understand what that word fewest means, the smallest amount. So you peek back up there, and which one has the smallest amount of tally marks? Number 12, how many children chose berry? And you just go up and take a peek at berry, slide across, and there's your tally marks and your answer for that one. So those are your questions 9 through 12. Moving on to page 4, you're going to get to create your own bar graph. The title and the labels are on there for you. Number 13 says, Erin is making a bar graph to show the kinds of sandwiches her friends like. You guys can make bar graphs about anything. You guys are stuck at home. You can look through a craft drawer, take information or survey what's in the drawer, and make a bar graph if you want. But this young lady decided to make a bar graph about different sandwiches. So 4 of her friends like ham. 6 of her friends like turkey. 1 friend likes a cheese sandwich. That's interesting. And 3 friends like jelly sandwich without peanut butter. That's interesting too. We're going to draw bars to complete the graph. So 4 friends for ham. This is a vertical up and down. So you're just going to count 1, 2, 3, 4 and shade that in. Turkey is 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Shade it in. Or you could just look at the 6 and slide right over and shade down. And continue with all that information to finish that bar graph. Here's another bar graph. This one is horizontal, side to side with its data. We're going to use this bar graph for questions 14 through 16. We're going to write a title for this bar graph, and that can be a little difficult. That's why I kept encouraging everybody, make sure you get your titles and labels in there. It's going to come up on the test. And it's probably one of the harder parts of this chapter. So looking at this, I see that there are toys along this side. Yo-yo, doll, blocks, ball. The number of toys are here. So what could the kids who took this survey, what do you think it was about? Oftentimes it's about favorite things. So it could be a title such as favorite toys. It could be playing at recess, if it's something maybe like preschool and that's some of the toys they had. It could be for indoor recess. Okay, as long as it goes with choosing toys, it is exactly the right title. So you just have to make sure. You can't put something like favorite pizza toppings on this one. It's got to be about toys and the number of toys. So it's not, I guess I'm wrong, it's not surveying kids. It's probably looking in a toy box and seeing how many toys are in there. So number of toys, you could even just title it toys or playing with toys. Which toy did the most children choose? Most tells you the biggest amount. How many children chose blocks? Pretty straightforward question right there. Moving on. This is a picture graph. We've done one of these already. This is all about your favorite school subject. So math, reading, science, and art. The key says that each smile face stands for 1 child. Number 17, you got to refer back up to this picture graph. How many children chose art? You just find art. 1, 2, 3. And you'll fill in the blank with 3 children. Number 18, how many children in all chose reading or science? That word or was misleading a little bit. Usually we combine with the word and, but for graphs, they can't vote for both. So they're either voting for reading or they're voting for science. But together, you're going to join that information and add them. So reading is 3, joining with science is 2, and that sum will give you the answer for 18. 19, 3 more children chose science. How many smile faces should be in the science row of the picture graph? So if you took a survey and 3 more kids chose science, add those in here. Now how many smiley faces are in the science row? You're adding information to that graph. Number 20, 4 children like music the best. Draw a smile face to show a music row for the picture graph. So Mrs. Hartzler was left out up here. I bet she wouldn't like that. So we're going to add Mrs. Hartzler in here and get a music box in a little row. And if there were 4 kiddos who liked music the best, draw the smiley faces that represent 4 for music there. And here is the tally chart for the last few questions. These are about favorite vegetables. You guys know I'm not much of a vegetable eater. I hope you guys are. It's very good for you. 21, which vegetable was chosen by only 4 children? So whichever one has 4 tally marks is the blank answer. Okay, it's the vegetable. Which vegetable? It's not asking for an amount. It's asking for which vegetable. So the vegetable goes on the blank. Which vegetable did the fewest children choose? So again, your answer is going to be a vegetable with the choice that has the smallest amount or the fewest amount of tallies. 23, which vegetable did the most children choose? So again, it's going to be a vegetable, and you got to look at the information here, the tallies, which one has the biggest amount, the most. And the last one today is number 24, how many children chose corn? How many tells you it's going to be a number. So how many? You're going to look up here and write that number on the blank. So I hope that if you have any questions, you'll let me know, please. I know I went quickly. Please pause whenever you have to. Give yourself your own think time. Everybody thinks at different rates of speed. You're going to do fabulous. It's going to be great. And your test will be tomorrow. Thank you, second grade.